Welcome to Say Like a Champ, episode 188. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy, what's good, fam?
We back in the building. Another week in sports, another chance to hang out with family and break it all down. So that's what's good. But before we do, like always, want to get a quick check-in. Strizzy, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I don't know why lately I feel like things are moving like hella fast for whatever reason. Nothing crazy, just I don't know. For some reason I feel like these days have been going by really fast lately. But other than that, man, I'm chilling. You?
Same here. Definitely time flying by, like we always talk about. It's already we're already into April, which is crazy. And with March Madness ending, you know what I'm saying, with baseball starting, it's just like another transition. And then you know how we love football. We'll be right back to it before we even know it. So definitely time moving fast though. Lots of celebrations, lots of birthdays. And I do want to give a shout out to our boy Anthony Wesson. He's in the comments. He had his 40th birthday celebration. Man, congratulations on the big 4-0. We appreciate you as always hanging out with the show and no worries about catching up. I'm sure
that's real.
So happy birthday to you. We had Mom's birthday last week, and then also today is a very special birthday for Mama D as well. So we got lots of birthdays going on, and so definitely want to say shout out to all of our birthday slackers out there.
Yeah.
And also, let's see who else we got in the building. We got Unc in the building. Hello from Texas. What's good? We got Pops as well. Good evening, Pops. Welcome. We got Stephanie Washington in the building. Hey. Busy off of these basketball tournaments and everything like that. We got Moms in the building too. Welcome to the show, Moms. And everybody's giving a big shout out and a big happy birthday to Anthony as well.
Yep.
And also, we got Grace Williams in the building. Welcome, Grace. Thank you for being with us.
Always.
And yeah, big happy birthday to both our guy Anthony Weston and also Mama D as well. So
yeah,
that's what's up. Speaking of busy, before we get into our topics real quick, we know we got to give a big shout out to our boy Marcus. He is busy as always, always running around. So we're not going to get a chance to catch up with him this week, but as always, much love to our brother there. So just wanted to give a quick shout out for him too. We appreciate everything he does for us and for the show. So that's what's up. And Anthony said it was his first. He was out in Tampa, his first time going there. So you have to let us know what Tampa was like. I've never been there.
I'm curious. I've only ever been to like South Beach, Miami. So
yeah. So we'll see. It's like the other coast of Florida. It's like the inside coast. So that's what's up. But I think we'll go ahead and get ready to get into our first topic of the day. We'll see. There's not a lot of topics or a lot of things for all of our topics. But we'll see. Usually that's sometimes when we end up going the longest. So how that goes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up our graphics though, and we have a little bit of a different layout. We're gonna test this out, see how we're liking it this week. And we'll make adjustments as we need to as we go. But I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and get this thing popping. Let's go to our first topic. What's up next?
Oh, let's check it out, man, real quick.
Tune to NFL Talk.
Let's get it.
All right, NFL Talk. So starting off with some bad news, some interesting news. Like I said, it's kind of a slow news week for NFL. Free agency is definitely settling down. We're shifting our focus to the draft, as that's the biggest thing coming up. And the winter meetings are closed as well. So no other like rule changes or anything crazy like that. But the Cardinals have been accused of some very serious things by a former vice president from the Arizona Cardinals who used to work there. He's accused Bidwell of discrimination and harassment, and then also cheating. And specifically with the cheating, it was like a scheme to use like burner phones to keep in contact with their GM when he was suspended. And I guess the VP and also the head coach at the time, Wilkes, wasn't willing to use the burner phones. That's pretty crazy that's all coming out. But I wanted to get your initial thoughts on this, and as you're hearing kind of some of this news.
It's one. We talk about all the time of like everybody cheats, right? It's just a matter of who gets caught, a matter of what exactly it is that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't surprise me at all, right? Definitely doesn't surprise me at all. I feel like a lot of these owners and things of this nature are some of the grimiest people around. You know what I mean? So, again, I'm not surprised at all. I was I saw that too, where it's like, Coach Wilkes wasn't really kind of down with that. And even just, what he did with the Panthers for the last couple of weeks, he seems like the type of guy that'd be like, nah, I'm not. He's not really there for the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So, I commend him for not getting involved because, like, that's your employer, right? Like, those people give you a job. So a lot of times people kind of get into that gray area of like, I better do what I'm supposed to do, otherwise I'll be fired. That's probably why he did get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? He wasn't going to follow suit, so they let him go. But doesn't surprise me at all, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is one of those things where a lot of teams do things that are, maybe not totally on the up and up, but also it depends on what kind of regime is going on, right? And if you're kind of with it or not. And I like the fact that these guys stood up, or this guy specifically, but it's also the timing, right? Because this, this guy was, this talking about stuff from 2018. And so I did want to throw that out there, that it's like, now that his career hasn't gone the same way in the NFL, now he wants to come out with, this was cheating and this and that. But I feel like a lot could be uncovered. Apparently this VP still has the burner phone that was used, or that was given to him to be used. And also he said that he was written up for insubordination when he spoke out against it, which is like, that's crazy if you're putting down reports of people being insubordinate because they don't want to break the rules with you. That's the next level, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So, and then as far as the harassment and the discrimination, now nothing specific has come out around that, but he said that the behavior was worse than Sarver's behavior, which we see what happened with him and the Suns, with him deciding to kind of step out of the way. So very interesting. We'll see what more comes out of this. But that's just kind of what some of the big news that was going on today. Unk says Cardinals just can't do things the right way. Anthony Weston says, what is going on with AZ team owners? If they were cheating, they were incompetent at it. And at least if you're going to do it, win. Let's see. Pop says, I kind of agree with Strizzy. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes. It's just how much gets out, right?
Yep.
So, I guess you got to keep people in your corner, right? Or else they'll be spreading around all that dirt. So, and honestly, I think that's why the GM Keem had a job for so long too, because he wasn't doing nothing, and he was continually getting in trouble, and and finally it was enough is enough. So
at a certain point, you're like, look, dog, we really love you here, but like you keep messing up. I can't keep you around if you don't keep messing up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was his boy, but I
can't only cover so much, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No, I feel you. All right, before we go on to the next topic, Stephanie Washington threw out a happy birthday for D, and then also Aunt Pammy. Welcome to the show, Aunt Pammy. Happy birthday, D and Anthony. Thank you for joining in. All right, so like I said, it is kind of a slow news week for football, and it's slow enough that we're talking about Brian Hoyer. The only major signing that's happened really this week. Brian Hoyer signing with the Raiders, which is, a second former Patriot going to play there under Josh McDaniel, but really only to be a backup behind Jimmy G. But he's basically like reassembling, I think it was like 2016 squad or something like that. So any thoughts on Brian Hoyer?
None at all, man. But it's great. Like, this stuff never works, right? Like, when you start trying to just bring over players from past teams because you think like, oh, they know my system, blah blah. That shit don't work. Like it don't ever really work. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You got to fill some roster spots. You maybe want to do it with a guy who's comfortable in your offense, but I want Anthony. What are the Raiders doing, man? Like, McDaniel, this might be like a 2 and done for him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see them being very good next year, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And with all the changes that they made, they've only gotten worse considering if you compare it to what their roster was this year. And they just couldn't get it together this year. So Anthony Weston says Cam needs to be in the league then if Brian Hoyer's getting a backup job. And we didn't talk about that. I think
Cam's in his own way, though.
What's that?
I think Cam's in his own way, though. I feel like he would have been in the league last year if he would have gone somewhere to be a backup. But I don't think he wants to be a backup.
Right.
So I feel like he is in his own way for being in the league. I don't think it has anything to do with his ability to still play.
I agree with that. I'm sure that, people take his temperature or they maybe reach out and he's like, oh no, I want a chance to start or I want to
Yeah,
compete or whatever. And they're like, all right, you're not where we need you to be at right now. So,
exactly.
On a serious note though, Unc does throw this out there when we're talking about the discrimination from the Cardinals, potential discrimination. Unc says, with how much the world has changed, how can we still be dealing with racism? Haven't we done enough to earn love and respect? Pop says, I hear you. What will it take? And it is crazy. I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. We'll have a little conversation too at the closing, but yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But as we continue to grow, I think though that the young kids these days are coming up a little bit different. And I think that hopefully, we gotta hope that they're ready to kind of change the way things have been and continue to progress things forward. So
Definitely.
All right. The Kelsey Jam. Again, like I said, this is kind of slow news, but I thought this was pretty cool. So Travis Kelsey's throwing a concert the weekend of draft weekend, since it is going to be in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty gangster. And I was just thinking, like, how cool would it be to be like wealthy and affluent enough to be able to just like throw a concert with your favorite bands? You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Like, that would be gangster. But who would you be putting on your lineup? And slackers out there, if you could throw the concert of your dreams, like, who would you be putting on your lineup? That's what I was kind of wondering with this one.
Man, if I'm thinking kind of new school is, I'd probably go with Kendrick, J. Cole, maybe even Drake. As far as like new school, you know what I mean? Like just
Dang,
like,
you're gonna have a blast.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like just from an entertainment point of view, like it'd be like nonstop bangers, right? For that.
Yeah.
And like as far as like old school goes, man, like I would love to have like a Cube, Snoop, and I'm trying to think who would be my third, but like Cube and Snoop for sure. And then maybe like, I mean, if we could go far back, kind of a wishful thinking, like a Pocket Big type deal, you know what I mean? But like that would be dope. Like, so like that would be too tight. Like that would be like the chill. You just kind of like lay back and just head bobbing, mingling. So like that'd be tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it would be dope. There, for me, it would depend on where we're at with it, because I feel like the location of the draft would impact maybe the style of music or the artist I might bring out. It would maybe be a lot different if it was on the East Coast versus the West Coast, because I like what you were saying there with with like Snoop or Cube type of thing. So but yeah, I would definitely want to have like a local artist from wherever the draft is at. But I would kind of want to mix too, because you might have some country folks, you might have some people that are more on the pop and the new school, and then also you got your old school too. So that would be fun though. That would be so awesome. Anthony says he's on PTO that weekend. He should be going. Pop says Darius Rucker. Nice. Mom says, mine is way old school, bro. But the thing is, all the old schools are coming back too,
They really are.
So they're just making their money on tour over and over and over. The last ninth tour, you know what I'm saying? Unc says Prince, John Legend, Earth, Wind and Fire, Babyface. Dang, that would be a crazy mixture. But Prince, that would be definitely a good show. And then Earth, Wind and Fire, I've had a chance to see them. That's super dope. Anthony West says Little Uzi, Migos, Drake, 2 Chainz. If we're going today, I want the crowd to be crazy. I'm not caring about lyrics. I got you. That's what's up. I thought Anthony West might say Nas, but I know he loves him too. But I got you. I feel you. He wants that energy. Kelly says, I love those options. Yeah. Out of we could have a SLAC jam, you know what I'm saying, and everybody kind of contribute 1 or 2 artists, and we would be out there, man.
We just need to put together a barbecue. That's all we you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Little SLAC barbecue. We're straight.
First annual, you know what I'm saying? Coming really soon. So that's what's up. So I thought that was kind of fun to talk about that though. So hopefully Travis Kelsey's concert goes well. Much love to him. And then also though, for him having Tech 9 as a special guest, that's super gangster, because Tech 9 is Kansas City, so so that's what's up. Let's see. Stephanie Washington said, I'm going to see Wu-Tang and Nas here in the fall. That's what's up. Great tour there. Those two together. Mom says Tina Turner. That would be gangster. Big wheels, you know what I'm saying? And Anthony Weston does say Nas is my favorite artist. Okay. All right. A couple more notes on football before we move on. We got Jalen Carter, excuse me. He I wanted to see what you thought about that. He's only visiting teams with a top 10 pick despite the kind of allegations across his name and also him not having a good pro day. But what did you think about that?
It's funny. It's got to be tough though. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to meet with all 32 teams? That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
You're not making no money yet. I mean, I guess, with nil deals you might be, you know what I mean? But let's keep it a band. Like a lot of defensive linemen or defensive players, they're not getting the same nil deals as like the college quarterbacks are, or
right,
those top running backs, top receivers are, right? So, I really don't blame him actually only meeting with some top players, because he has kind of got himself in a little bit of trouble as of late, but nothing that I don't think is going to keep him out of the first round, honestly.
right.
So I kind of agree with it. You know what I mean? I think like the older I get, I feel like the more I feel like the combine is just not as important. You know what I mean? Like dudes like, nah, I'm like quarterbacks, I'm not throwing. Y'all saw what I could do for 12 games. You know what I mean? Last year or two, like
take me or not,
exactly. Like, you know what you're getting.
I agree with that. I think it's a bold stance to take, but I kind of agree with where he's coming from, or where his agent is coming from with it, because it's like, it is true that a lot of these guys, they waste a lot of time, they do a lot of due diligence, but only one team can take you.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know realistically somebody's going to take him.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be a top, he's going to be like a 1 or 2 pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I think more guys should probably do it. The only thing I would say is, coming off of everything that's going on around his name, it's like maybe not the best chance, not the best time to be like, I'm not trying to win everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Anthony West says the Eagles will take him at 10. Oh man, I hope he doesn't go to the Eagles. He said that, they do have a lot of Georgia Bulldogs. Man, I hope that doesn't happen. Pop says Mr. Carter fall to the Cowboys. I wish he would, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think he might even go to the Lions.
Oh.
What's that?
What pick do you guys have? 20-something?
Yeah, it's like 27 or 26.
Yeah, he ain't gonna fall that far. Even with the stuff going on, I can't see him falling that far.
Right.
Who knows? We've seen crazier things happen.
Right, we have, but we'll see. I think there'd have to be even more stuff. But I feel like the NFL is kind of like, insiders, I think, are cool on him. Like, they're just like letting like all that other talk be fine, but they're still gonna take him. Like, yeah, I think they understand what's going on. Yeah. The other guy that's kind of rising right now, Anthony Richardson, he had a big pro day, did a little backflip after his last throw, showing his athleticism. That's the other real question, kind of though, like as we turn to the draft, is like how high this guy's gonna go and who's gonna be willing to take a chance on him. So I thought the flip was tight though. Did you like the flip?
Yeah, man, he's crazy athletic, man. Like you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. I think I love Stroud had a great pro day, great calm. Like he looked phenomenal, right? It kind of bothers me a little bit because like they just keep talking about Bryce Young's poise and his intelligence, but they're not talking about his actual play. So that kind of scares me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not talking about I'm not talking about anything else. But I just kind of feel like I'm weary that this kid is going to be the kid in this draft who has the better career, right? Of all of these guys. So, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I know it's hard to trade up to the number 1 and take him, but I think he's still my favorite quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like the long term, it's too bad that, you guys maybe don't have somebody in the interim or that he can sit behind that a year that you would like feel confident in, I guess.
Right.
It's a little bit different. Because I think whoever they do go after with the number 1 pick, and they did make all that trade capital in there, I think that they are going to get a starter right now. So
yeah.
Yeah. Stephanie Washington says nothing like risking the injury with that backflip, though. I mean, that's so true. And he went high up too. I was like,
oh yeah, he was up there for sure.
Yeah. Pops is talking about Levis might be sliding a little bit. That's an interesting one there. We only have a couple more shows before the draft. So what I think we are going to do for NFL Talk, since it has been so slow, is next week we're going to do like an offensive players, like our top offensive players that we think are in the draft, offensive impact players. And then next we'll do defense the week after that. and that'll kind of prepare us for our mock draft. And we definitely want to have whoever wants to submit it out of the Slackers. If you guys want to submit a mock draft, first round, we're going to do the grade. We got the grading system that we established last year. We're going to dust that off and use it again. So that'll be exciting. But that's pretty much what we got there for an NFL talk. I think we'll go ahead and keep this train moving to our next topic.
You know what's funny though? Real quick.
Oh yeah.
Real quick. So I was just reading Pops his comment about Levi's and slide a bit. I think he's doing that on purpose. I don't think he wants to go to the Colts because I think that's where he ends up. I think he ends up with the Colts, but I don't think he wants to go there. So I think he's trying to slide a little bit. I don't know where, but I think he's trying to slide a little bit.
Self-sabotage. That's a new one. But people have all kinds of draft strategies, but like all the way back to Eli Manning, he's like, I'm not going there. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it. So, all right, that's what's up. I like that though. We'll keep this thing moving though, and get into some of our next topic. All right, NBA talk. We're going to be first starting off with the Hall of Fame class of 2023, and a pretty legit little class here. We got Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Gasol, Tony Parker, Greg Popovich, and Becky Hammond. I think that's a star-studded group. That's a really good group to go in alongside of. But I think also Tony Parker, Greg Popovich, and Becky Hammond, it's like the half Spurs, you know what I'm saying? Squad. But big shout out to them. I love Pop for sure. But out of all these players, I'm interested to know your thoughts on this real quick, but also who's your favorite out of these 6 Hall of Fame people, as well as the Slackers too. Who would be your number one? I think
Dwayne Wade's my favorite player of all time. You know what I'm saying? Not to say he's the greatest player of all time, obviously, but he's I've loved the Miami Heat since I'm a really big Tim Hardaway fan, obviously, but Dwayne Wade was my favorite player for his the entirety of his career. I love watching him play. My game was modeled so much after his playing in high school and college. So obviously we knew he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer when his time came up, but like I said, this group is crazy. This is a Hall of Fame group for the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying it's crazy. So, but hats off to all of them, man. But I'm psyched for Dwayne Wade to get in. That's my dude. Always been my dude. And in my opinion, he's the 3rd greatest shooting guard of all time.
I love it. No, I know that's your guy for sure. So I figured, no one on this list would top him for you. Yeah. I really like Dwayne Wade as well. I just don't know. There's something about Dirk though. He was just so gangster the way he came in. I really like Dirk and just his sense of humor. But also for me, I'm conflicted because Pau Gasol, you know what I'm saying, he came over and he delivered, you know what I'm saying, and he helped Kobe get those final 2 rings that he needed. Even though when he first came, we had to call him Gasol, you know what I'm saying, and he wasn't totally ready, but he took on that challenge, and so he kept the Lakers going. So, man, I don't know. This is a tough one to pick for me. Even Tony Parker, I love him, and then Becky Hammond, what she continues to do for the game, and still I think she's going to be one of those first, maybe potentially female head coaches in the NBA too. So we'll see. But yeah, that is a great group. Let's see what the Slackers have to say. Anthony Weston's firing off first. He said Gasol, and I understand too because I'm right there with them as well. Mom says Wade. Pop says Wade as well. Will Tony Parker retire as a Hornet? No, he's not. Come on, that's messed up. And then Stephanie Washington says solid picks. Yeah, so this was a good one. This was one that'll get him back on the map for sure. Yeah. No slouches in that group. So
none.
All right, so that was the Hall of Fame class. That was a really cool little moment for the NBA to get to announce that. We'll see how they do going forward. But I did want to jump into the Western Conference standings, and then we'll do the East real quick. Just the playoff scenarios. The Mavericks falling far now, are in threat of going out. They only have, I think it is 3 more games left. All teams have either 3 or 4 more games left. Basically, this is the last week of the season, and the play-in starts next Tuesday. So during SLAC 189, we'll be checking on the play-in too. So I'm really impressed though with the Lakers getting up to the 7th seed and having the potential, if they win out, to actually avoiding the play-in altogether and getting to that 6th seed.
Dude, they're a half game out of 5th place. A half game, like they.
And they do play the Clippers on Wednesday. I think it's no. Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. They play the Clippers. So that's going to be a very, very big game. They play tonight as well. So hopefully the back-to-back doesn't mess them up. But yeah, so we'll see if the Lakers can actually avoid the play-in, but at least they'll make the play-in, which I'm cool with. I'm happy about that. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the West and most specifically the Mavericks. What happens? Where do they go from here if they miss the playoffs altogether and the play-in?
Man, I think the Mavericks done. I don't think they make the play-in at all. I mean, I haven't looked at the final 4 games of these 4 teams. I think Lakers get in. I think they have a really solid chance at getting that. If I'm the Lakers, I want the 6th seed though, because the Suns aren't going to catch the Kings, right? They're not going to catch the Kings, and I kind of think Clippers and Golden State also want the 6th seed. Clippers are good. They don't want to play the Suns in the first round. They don't. Right. Not with KD healthy. But I think Lakers look really good. They've really kind of changed things around, and we know what they can do healthy, right? That's been their biggest problem the last 3 years. Health. You know what I'm saying? So as long as they can get in healthy, try to get that 6th seed, because I think that's really important. They want to play the Kings first round, and not even be at risk of not making because of the play-in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember 2 years ago, I think it was when the Warriors were in the play-in, and they were like, "Oh, we got 2 games." They lost to the Lakers the first game, and then they lost to Memphis the second game and didn't even make it, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you think you're good to go. Like, the West is stacked, man. Like, that 7 through 10 is crazy. So I want to see them get into, like, I think the Lakers have been playing well, and I think they're good for the playoffs, right? There are certain teams that are great for playoff basketball, and then the Lakers as a team is one of them. But as far as the Dallas Mavericks go, they're done. I don't think they're going to make it. I think this was an experiment. I don't think Kyrie comes back next year, so I think he'll be a free agent next year. Or they got to trade him. Oh no, he signed a deal. So yeah, they'll love to trade him again. I think, right?
Right. I think he's on his last year.
Okay. I thought he had an extension with
so the Nets. It is like a 1-year experiment.
Gotcha. I think the 1-year experiment's done. I understand why they made the trade. They were trying to do something big to help Luka kind of win some games, but I think it really hurt them because now they just have no defense at all. And defensively, they look so incredibly bad. And I don't think a full year helps it, right? Like, I don't think this is one of those things that's like, oh, give them a year, give them an off season. Like, I don't think that changes it. So I think they're going to be at the drawing board. Who can they pick up? Who can they trade for? They need to get some players around Luka that actually help him, and I think that starts with a very, very talented big man. So, obviously Philadelphia is not going to part with Embiid, but I feel like Embiid would be great there. Obviously Denver's not going to get rid of Jokic, but he'd be perfect there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luka needs a very talented big man with him. I don't think he needs another guard, right? Like, I think Dinwiddie was perfect because he plays defense. He's a solid guard, but he's not an all-star guard. Right. So you still expect everything to be done through Luka, and Dinwiddie can help, but they need to figure out some things as far as their personnel. It's just not there at all.
Agreed. I think it is weird. I think they did fall back from where they were at, right? When they made the trade, they thought maybe we can make a late push. I don't think that they dreamed when they were trading for Kyrie that they would miss the playoffs altogether. Yeah. But here we are. To see Kyrie on yet another uniform is going to be interesting, but I think that is where we're headed as well. Yeah. Luka, if you got a talent like his, you have to make the playoffs regardless.
Yeah.
You got to at least find a way to make the playoffs. I know the West is tough, but you got to put something together to figure that out.
And he has. You know what I mean? Like, you look at what he did with Rick Carlisle for those couple of years, like, you would think with Kai it would be easy, you know what I mean? And it hasn't been. So they're going to be looking at Jason Kidd too. Like, why isn't this working? What's going on with coaching? And sucks to say it, but they are. At least they have to. They should. Not to say he should lose his job. I don't think he should lose his job, but I just don't think Kyrie was a good fit.
Yeah, no, I agree. And says not looking like Kyrie will get the good contract this summer. Probably not, but you know what? There's still a team out there he goes to a team that needs somebody to root for, you know what I'm saying? He's still a hooper.
Man, he might be on Miami next year if I'm being completely honest.
You think so?
Yeah, because
we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the East for sure.
Okay. Anthony says everybody wants to play the Kings. That's for sure. But Unk's still saying look out for Sacramento.
They're good, but they're inexperienced.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that they're great in the regular season, but when it slows down, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
He said tried watching a Rockets game, couldn't watch the entire game. The team is horrible. That's why they didn't even make this list, even though we're looking at the Western Conference. So,
for real.
Just a couple things. The Nuggets can lock up the West, the top seed in the West tonight. And then also Wiggins looking to come back for the Golden State Warriors soon. I think that's a big deal. I think they said he could play this week. So I know there's only a couple more games left, but at least get a game or two under his belt before the playoff starts. That'll be good for them, and that'll make them more definitely more formidable, more dangerous, because he was a big part of it last year. Championship run. So, and
defensively, you know what I mean? Like, Clay's always been a great wing defender, but with the injuries, he's kind of slowed down in that regard. And Wiggins kind of took that mantle. So they definitely need him. Honestly, if they don't get that 60 to play the Kings, they're playing Memphis or the Suns, or most more than likely, or even the Nuggets. And without Wiggins, I think they're out first round.
That'd be crazy if they have to end up against Memphis right now, because Memphis is their big. That's their big nemesis. All right, let's move to the East. My bad. I don't know why I went backwards a little bit. East, not really much to talk about. The Bucks are getting ready to lock it up, and they're looking like Giannis might be going for his second title, his second ring. But what were you gonna say about the East? What are your thoughts?
Not much, man. I think it's out of Bucks and Celtics. I think those are the two that'll make it out of the East. I think you might have some surprises though. I think the Knicks could take Cleveland. Honestly, they are much turned around, but they gotta be healthy. You know what I'm saying? I know Julius Randle's been out for a couple of games. If he's not healthy come playoff time, there's no way to get past Cleveland. Miami's scaring the crap out of me right now. The inconsistencies all season has been insane. I looked at the game right now against Detroit. Jimmy has way too many games where he takes like 8 or less shots. I think he had 4 shots going into the fourth quarter, and he's healthy. It's not like he's sitting out. He's just only taking 4 shots. And I mean, the amount of games he's played this year when he's only taken a certain amount of shots is not okay. Like, he's our best player. He's got to be our best player every single night. With every once in a while, Bam being in the spotlight. Tyler can have a great night every once in a while, but consistently, Jimmy needs to be that guy for us, and it hasn't been that way this year, and that's why I'm really afraid of. I do not want to play Boston in the first round. The last couple of years, the 76ers have not been a threat to us, but we don't beat them this year, in my opinion. So I have Miami out in the first round, honestly, almost depending on no matter who they play, unless they can sneak to 5th. You know what I mean? Like that's really the only way.
Yeah, and I think that's out already, actually.
Yeah, I don't think there's no way. But I think the Bucks are honestly, man, it could be a repeat championship between Bucks and Suns. Honestly, if the Suns are healthy and can get through it, it could be a repeat for that. Because I think Bucks just look way too good, man. They just when they play Bucks basketball, they look unbeatable. It's crazy.
I agree. I was thinking that too. It might end up being a little rematch there. 1 year removed, but that would be pretty interesting to see. So we'll wrap this thing up though. NBA is wrapping up. Here is what the playoff looks like right now, and I know it's a lot to look at. I'm sure it's probably pretty hard to read, but the point of this is that we're going to look at this again next Tuesday, and it'll be finalized. So we'll know exactly what the playoff rounds are, the playoff matchups are, and then we'll make our predictions. We'll start to do our predictions on each matchup and the wins and losses we think is going to be, you know what I'm saying? Lakers in 4. So that's what we'll do next week. But that's pretty much it for NBA talk. I'm gonna breeze through the comments real quick just to see if there's anything I missed. Anthony Weston says Miami matchups with Philly if they are healthy. And so that would be an interesting one, but I don't know. I don't know if they can get to the 6th seed and if they can avoid the play on. I think they are going to have to go through either Milwaukee or Boston. So
yeah, for sure. And we it's funny, like we match up in the backcourt, but not the front court. Bam doesn't play well against Embiid. I don't know why. For whatever reason, Embiid just punishes him every time they play. so like that's the only thing that worries me a little bit. But on the other side is Jimmy plays extremely well against them. So
because he has like a fake hate for no reason.
I know. He really does, dog.
Like
really
there's no
does.
reason to be mad at them, but
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, like, I'm hoping I get playoff Jimmy is always different. So I'm hoping he just kind of turns it up a notch. But like right now, I'm really worried for my squad. Like they haven't looked really consistent all year.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully they can avoid the play-in, but if not, I think both of our teams are going to be active next Tuesday. So it might be a SLAC Express, if we're watching them to see if they make it into the playoffs or not. So
for sure.
We'll see. All right, we're going to keep this thing rolling. We're going to go straight into other sports. Wanted to talk about the NCAA tournament. One of the best tournaments ever. Or not ever, I should say. You know what I'm saying? We get caught up in the moment, but one of the best tournaments that I can remember in recent history. A lot of excitement, a lot of good games. But at the end of the day, UConn won every game by at least 10 points.
Yeah.
That's pretty dominant run to win the title. Of course, they didn't have all those number one seeds to go through, but if they didn't make it there, so you can only play who's in front of you. They were really fueled by their guy, though, Adama Sanogo. I don't know if he's going to go to the NBA or what his draft prospects are looking like, but he did do a great job, and he was the most outstanding player for the tournament. So congrats to him on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
My little question, though, I guess because, you and I are the same age, basically, and we grew up watching, and kind of seeing. I'm asking you, do you think that UConn is the best, like, team, like college basketball team of our kind of lifetime?
They are up there. I mean, they do have 3 championships in the last 12 years, something like that.
Something like that.
So you I mean, you got to put them up there. Somebody was telling me that, like, this might be the best college basketball team ever. I'm like, I don't know about that. I feel like although I will not take anything away from them, you know what I mean? But like, I feel like their way to this championship wasn't the hardest, right?
Right.
Like you said, there was no. I mean, I think did they beat Bama or no San Diego beat Bama, right?
Right.
Yeah. So like, they really didn't have to go through any 1 seeds. You know what I'm saying? So, of course they didn't get there. So like you said, you got to beat who's in front of you. But I'd say they're one of them. I would say UNC's had some good runs. Duke's had some good runs, but they are definitely up there. That is for sure.
Yeah. For me, it was like
too.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's I think that combination too. Mom says that they have won 5 championships. That is a lot, definitely. I think that's the most, right? Of all.
I think UNC has 5 too.
Okay, got you. Anthony says UConn has to be considered a blue blood now, right? I agree with that. I think, especially when it comes to college basketball, yeah. I mean, you got it. Anthony Weston says Duke for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, Duke always knew that they were great, but UConn, it was just something about them kind of, I feel like they rose up more in our time, especially just like the logo, Ray Allen, like just kind of like being kind of a cool new thing.
True.
To like actually being pretty dominant. But, Kansas, UCLA, that was all like kind of before our time, kind of. I mean, Kansas has been good. I'm not saying that they haven't, but
yeah,
I don't know. So anyways, that was a cool one. Anthony Weston says Duke has 5 too. So okay. So there are a couple up there, but yeah, I think UConn definitely. I mean, they have their place. They have their place in college basketball history, no doubt. So
facts for sure.
All right,
and it was dominant. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny because I myself always say, like, when you play a team better than you, that you should win. You should beat them, right? I mean, like, beat them well, and they did that. So, I don't want to take anything away from them. Like, this title run was great. Like, it was crazy. Like, they really did beat the brakes off everybody they played.
Right.
One of my boys actually texted me last night, David, my fellow Ravens fan, and he was like, I don't really watch college basketball anymore, so I'm looking to you. He's like, does San Diego have a chance? Because he was going to bet some money on San Diego. And I was like, no, I'll save your money. I was like, matter of fact, put your money on UConn spread at 7.5. He was like, it's kind of a lot. And I was like, dog, they're going to get it. And sure enough, man, they beat him by 17. And I texted him. I was like, yo, you put that money up? He was like, nope. I was like, see, I try to tell you. But yeah, I knew San Diego didn't. They hung in there at the beginning, but not for long.
Right. It wasn't the same. They weren't in the same class, but I do give them credit for their run too. Yeah. And the only thing is, you do have to mix in that you never know factor. Like, they're like, we got all the way here, we might as well try to win it, but they just were outmatched. So, and Mom's asked who won the bracket. I actually did win the bracket. Yeah, came through at the end there. So we'll just leave Steven as the reigning champ. You know what I'm saying? And we'll leave the trophy with him for now until we figure out what's happening for next year. But luckily, I did come through with that on my second bracket. I had UConn winning it, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, but until next year, until next March, basically, we close the book on college basketball. College basketball. We'll touch on it a couple times, but we'll see you next March Madness on that one. For baseball, real quick, it's the first week of MLB season, and we already have a fight. And not just a normal baseball fight, but a baseball fight between a fan and a player. Anthony Rendon. Unfortunately, we just talked about this last week, right, with Bradley Beal. Now we have Anthony Rendon that is under investigation by the Oakland police after grabbing a fan. And so we have some kind of slide of it here. But as you can see here, real quick, I'm going to use my mouse on this one. You see, he's got this fan down by grabbing him by his shirt, and he's pulling him down over the railing. I guess this fan was saying a couple obscene gestures, and Rendon's like, "Oh, come here," like, and then grabs him when he gets close enough and pulls him down. And he's like, "What'd you call me?" Blah blah blah. And so there is a video of it out there. Interesting stuff, though. His teammates didn't even really try to stop him because I think that they heard what the fan was saying as well, so they weren't even tripping. Yeah. But at the end, when he let go, let me get my pointer back out. When he let go of him right here, because you see how the guy was like crouched down, because he pulled him like all the way down to the bar, like he was pulling him down, and so the guy's face is like down here by the bar. And as he let him go, the guy popped up, but he takes a swipe at him here, and he tried to like just give him a little something, you know what I'm saying, on the way out. Yeah. And so it's pretty crazy, but as Anthony West says, man, players are getting really fed up with the stuff from the fans, but also, you got to control yourself, right? Because you really can't win in that situation. Yeah. And you can't address every fan that's going to talk shit to you, you know? So, but did you see this? What did you think of this one?
It sucks, man, because, like, although I do agree with Anthony, it's like, man, players are getting fed up. And, like, let's be realistic. Like, if that was out in regular public, he probably would have beat, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would beat the snot out of him, right? Right. But you're the only one who has something to lose, right? You punch that dude in the face, he's got a black eye for a week and a half, and now he's also going to sue you for a couple mil. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're right, man. Like, you got to keep your composure. Do like Brown, start snitching. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this man got to go. He called me something, you know, he called me such and such, and get these people kicked out, get them banned from the stadium. You know what I mean? Like, But it sucks because, you know, he's going to get suspended. He's going to miss some games. I think I saw they're already talking about he's going to miss like the next 4 at least. I think they said it. Maybe more, something like that. But, you know what I mean? Like, you're the only one with something to lose, man. Like, keep your cool, get them kicked out, whatever the case may be. But it sucks. Yeah. You can't do what you want to do.
Right, exactly. Stephanie Washington says you don't blame him, but dang, the suspensions, that's for sure. You know, it's going to end up costing you money on your check. Anthony West said they do need to kick fans out. They need to kick fans out for certain things, though, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I want to go back, though. I did miss a comment. Mom said, I think the Final Four is here next year. That's what's up.
That was
exciting. I got the chance to go. My boy Anthony and I went whenever it was here last time when UNC won. So that was a lot of fun. So if they're coming back, man, we could try to get in. You know, the tickets in there are not super expensive, especially because it can fit so many people. Last time they did it in the Cardinal Stadium, so you know, it was a lot of people that got a chance to go see it. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if they are coming back, maybe we'll have to try to do some coverage of that.
Heck yeah.
All right, moving right along. Only a couple more things here. Next up, we do have the Masters. That starts on Thursday, so very exciting. And obviously, there's only one thing we want to see when it comes to the Masters. We want to see Tiger win it again. And if there's any tournament that he might be able to win, I think it is the Masters. I guess he's been practicing very hard on certain shots that he'd have to take for the Masters. But what do you think, Strizzy? Realistically, talk to me. What are the chances of Tiger winning it this weekend?
Like you said, I feel like this is probably, the tournament that he probably has the biggest shot at winning. You know what I mean? If anybody knows these courses, it's him. You know what I mean? He's been around for a really long time. It's just a matter of how his body responds to everything. You know what I mean? So I would love to see him get that last one, man. Like I put a bet on him every time he's playing just because I'm just like, he got to get it. Like, he got to get it. And if he gets it, the odds are always high, but I always bet on him, man. You know what I'm saying? I want him to get that last Masters and get the record, not tying it. So
right,
definitely want him to get it. But there's some golfers in the tournament, man. Like it's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. But I'm rooting for our boy for real.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely rooting for him. I don't think that he will win. But I'm with you. I want to put just a little $5 on him. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be left out in case.
Just in case.
So we'll see. But yeah, definitely supporting Tiger. Put your Tigers in the chat like Pops did for if you're with Tiger. And yeah, I think that it will be pretty cool. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how his body holds up if he can make it all the way through. But the Masters, that's his tournament. So not his tournament, but that's his most successful tournament, I should say.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll be looking for another magic moment. A couple more things here. I did want to shout out Connor McDavid, who hit 140 points this year in NHL, which is the first time anyone's done that since 1996. This year, he has 62 goals and 84 assists in 77 games. So he is just a monster right now. He's a beast. And he's the first one to reach 140 points for the Oilers since Wayne Gretzky. So definitely shout out to him. If you like exciting hockey, and you like exciting players in hockey, Connor McDavid right now is just absolutely on fire. So that's what's up. And I did mention this a couple weeks ago, the Isobel Cup. I missed the game, the women's hockey game, but I watched the highlights of it, and it was actually pretty gangster. And so women's hockey, that was really cool. Shout out to the Toronto Six for winning. But it actually went into overtime. And one thing that was interesting is in women's hockey in overtime, it's 3-on-3. So there was like so much open ice. It was almost really cool for the offense because there was just so much room out there for them to skate around. So that was pretty cool. And I did find out too that in the new version of NHL, they have the women in there too, where you can actually play some of the women's
nice
teams.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. So shout out to women's hockey as well. You know what I'm saying? Breaking more barriers.
Heck yeah.
First time, televised on ESPN as well. So hopefully they'll keep getting bigger and bigger. And then I think this is we're almost to the end. Last thing when we're talking about getting bigger and bigger, Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia is coming up in a couple weeks. Which is very exciting. I definitely want to put together a little something. That's right after Pops' birthday too. So I definitely want to put together a little something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little watch party that we can all get together and watch it. But speaking of rising though, the price is going to be $85. I think this is a first for major boxing. If I'm not mistaken, it's usually at least the highest I'd seen before this is $75.
Yeah, I think it's 75 for the bigger ones. Yeah.
So they're trying to set a record. Which there's no way they can approach Mayweather money, but again, even Mayweather times it was like $60. It was starting at like 40, then 50, then 60, but nothing like this. So, but we'll get together, you know what I'm saying? We'll put a little group together. We'll put our money together and we'll watch this fight because I want to watch this fight for real. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I'm here for that one for sure.
And Showtime is doing their little follow along thing, which I haven't watched that one since probably like the Pacquiao Mayweather fight or whatever, where they do the 24/7 access or whatever leading up to the fight. but they are doing some special episodes for this fight too. So I might check it out. Get a little extra excited for the fight itself. So that's what's up. I think that's it. Strizzy, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about before we get into our little closing discussion?
Nothing I can think of. You know what I'm saying? We did get a shout out to LSU as well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes, that's what. Okay,
yeah,
that was part of what I wanted to talk about for our closing.
Yeah.
Our closing is I definitely wanted to. Let me get this layout right. Hold up. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
So I don't have this on the slide, but I definitely did want to talk about the women's tournament. I did want to give shout out to LSU, and then also talk about the whole Caitlin Clark situation. And the funniest thing though is the newest situation about this is that the White House, the first lady talked about, Iowa did such a good job, and they always have the champions, to the White House, and LSU is going to be invited and everything. But she's talking about, Iowa did such a good job. I think that they should just be invited too, which definitely did not go over well. But Strizzy, what were your thoughts on the whole, situation?
It sucks. It sucks, man. I'll say two things, maybe one or two things, but Caitlin Clark, Women's College Basketball Player of the Year. It's unanimous, right? She from an individual player standpoint, you can't take that away from her. She was phenomenal. She was better than literally every other player. They didn't get that, but she don't get that award, right? She is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
But it sucks that we're still talking about race so much when that game was amazing, right?
Right.
That we're not weird, but just the sports world in general, all the sports topics right now, we're talking about, why it's okay for Caitlin Clark to do the John Cena, you can't see me, and point to her ring finger like she's about to get a ring for eliminating
Iowa.
Yeah. No. Florida State that they beat.
Oh yeah. In the other championship.
Right. Just literally 48 hours before Angel Reese was doing it, to her, and then when she does it, it's inappropriate. It's bad sportsmanship. It's this. It's that. When Caitlin Clark, who obviously is a white player, who does it, and it's it's great for the sport, right? She's this, she's that. She's gonna change the game of basketball, women's basketball everywhere, and blah 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 blah. And it's just incredibly, just too unfortunate, right? The thing that I did like what Clark did is she did come out and say she was kind of in support of Reese. It shouldn't matter, the color, whose color of the skin, blah blah blah. If you're gonna criticize her, you shouldn't criticize me. Or if you're not going to criticize me, you shouldn't criticize her. So I'm glad she came out and actually said something in support of Reese. My only problem is that I wish that she would have done it immediately. You know what I'm saying? Her kind of statement just came out today, right? And later today. I would have loved for her to say something. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure she's upset. They just lost a national championship game. She probably don't want to be on Twitter or nothing like that, but I'm glad she said something. I wish she would have just at the podium when she's doing her exit interviews. I wish she would have said it then and there, right? I think it would have just been so much better for women's sports. More support for her, because I'm she might be white, but she played with nothing but sisters. You know what I'm saying? Her teammates are all black. So and then in regards to the first lady and this whole participation trophy stuff goes, that's bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? We ain't, it's always the championship team goes. The losing team don't go. They shouldn't go. They shouldn't want to go. Right. And it's just another slap in the face to the LSU Tigers and everything they achieved, to also going through just the racial stuff they're having to go, deal with this last couple of days. And now you want to invite the team that lost too? Nah, dude, they lost. It should never even have been a conversation. And I think LSU is now talking about they're not going to go, and I don't blame them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I did hear. I wasn't sure if they were gonna. I didn't hear that they might not go after that, but I do agree. I think it is kind of ridiculous that you would insinuate, oh well, we'll invite them too because they just did such a great job. You know, it was such a great competition.
No.
That was kind of weird. You know, and you know maybe there's something else behind that too. That I can't say. You know, what I'm saying I don't want to reach for things. There's enough going on anyways that we don't have to reach for other things.
Yeah.
But I will say too, like for Angel Reese, like the only thing is like for her and her supporters, the only thing I'm kind of not liking too is like don't aim that at Caitlin Clark because you know
Right.
you're mad at the wrong person. Then like if people
True.
are coming at you wrong, different, you know, it's not necessarily like on her. It's not like her thing to say whether it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying, or whether it's okay or not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's very true.
You're kind of directing your anger at the wrong people or the wrong person for that because they are both just competitors and they competed the same way. So why should she expect people to react differently to it? You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
So I do think that it's very interesting on that side of it. The only other thing I'll say too though is like LSU, like they did their thing.
Yeah.
Celebrate more and enjoy that more. The only thing I don't like about the Angel Reese, just the thing is I don't think there's any problem with what she did, but I've always been one to like, you know, do your celebrating, do your gloating, like do your trash talk, like in the heat of it.
Yeah.
But like, I just didn't like that. Like when she was like, it looked like for the last minute there, she was like following her around. I'm like, don't follow her around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the only part I didn't like about it. I'm not saying anything about like whether she should have or not. I'm just saying like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't follow her around because it's obviously not working. Like I think the other homegirl did a good job of just like not paying attention to it too, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely though the whole thing overblown. And the worst part is that it kind of clouded the fact that like this was one of the most watched tournaments. This was one of the most highly televised and highly like publicized games.
It was crazy.
And it was a great game.
Yo, it was great. It was way better than the men's championship game.
Right.
Way better.
Right. So
and I agree with Pops. When I throw Pops' comment up there really quick, Pops, I completely agree, man. Like you just got done losing a championship, so even her saying something 48 hours later is a class act. Like this girl is changing. She's Steph Curry of women's basketball right now. She can pull up from anywhere. You know what I mean? And not to mention Steph Curry. If we go back just a year ago, I recall a light-skinned sniper shooter doing the exact same gesture when they beat the Celtics last year. He made the exact same thing, pointing to his ring finger, like, you know, king me in a sense. Like, so, and nothing was said about Steph either, right? So it's just, you know, it sucks that we got to go there, but Caitlin Clark, she's going to be a name to remember for a very long time, in my opinion, as far as women's basketball goes. But yeah, definitely a class act. And like you said, man, I don't say their anger, but their attitude should not be pointed at Clark at all. Like it's got to be pointed at all the naysayers that, you know, with the Twitter fingers and things of that nature. So just go celebrate, you know what I'm saying? And have fun with your teammates, man. You know, don't let the world, you know what I'm saying, step on your guys' moment. So just enjoy the fact that you guys are national championships and no one can take that away from you for at least another 365 days. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Enjoy that.
You get to carry it for at least that long.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what's up though. But no, I agree. A few of the comments we were kind of putting up there. Unc says ridiculous. Racism does not belong in sports. Yeah. Anthony Weston, you know, you don't get to tell the winners how to celebrate. That's true. And I've always said, and that's the thing is that's good to point out that I wasn't complaining about the trash talk because we always talk about if you don't want people to talk trash, like stop them, you know what I'm saying? Beat them. Like, you don't want people to do the touchdown dance, don't let them score. So
do something.
So I like it though. I love all the opinions. But yeah, I think we'll pretty much close out the show right there. But that was definitely a hot topic that we wanted to talk about as well. But yeah, man, another week in sports. Some more exciting things to look forward to. We'll start our draft breakdown soon. Next week, we're going to have the NBA play-in going on and then the playoffs, which is, you know, what we're all here for. This is when we get the best basketball played. And then going on from there, you know what I'm saying? We want to see how Tiger does in the Masters this weekend. Lots to look forward to. And we'll be right here for it, bringing it all to you on episode 189. But until then, Shout out to Mad Marcus. Shout out to all of our slackers in the chat. And shout out to Strizzy and his petty roommate too. If you are not watching the socials, you know what I'm saying? Get on the broadcast channel. Make sure you don't miss a video.
You know what I'm saying? Don't miss a video.
Anything else?
Oh man, a bigger thing, man. Happy Easter. Easter's coming up this Sunday, man. So special shout out. I think our youngest viewers are Miles and Augie. So special shout out to them. And also hopefully they get everything they want and stuff like that for Easter.
Yes, I'm sure the bunny will be hopping their way. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hopefully they've been good or whatever. I think the Santa rule applies to the Easter bunny too. You got to be at least, behaving somewhat.
They run with the same crowd. You know what I'm saying? They run with the same crowd.
Yeah. Real quick, Anthony Wesley said, did you see the average player in cricket makes more than any sport but basketball? I wouldn't be surprised by that. Sachin Tendulkar, he was like the most famous Indian cricket player. That dude is like Michael Jordan for real, like in those terms, for the people that watch cricket. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. But we'll have to do a breakdown. Maybe for other sports, we'll pull that up and we'll get into some of that information. But it is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then Kelly's out there. She's ready for the Easter Bunny too. So
yeah,
that's what's up. No, good shout out. Thank you for remembering about that. So lots to look forward to. And until then, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Striz.
Peace.